Hey there gamers, Dreamcastguy here, and today we're talking about Skate because the new game just came out, Skate 4. It's technically in early access, and this game, it just sucks. I mean, let's just talk about everything that's bad about it because I have played 3 hours of it now, and I wanted to just sort of do some first impressions because even now, in just this first bit, the game has crashed 7 times, the servers have gone down twice, and my PlayStation 5 save file got bricked. That's why if you look at this, I actually have a separate character in half the gameplay. I had to restart everything on the PC. But let's just talk, because honestly, I'm a big fan of the original Skate games, 1, 2, and 3. I always thought they were games that were incredibly good, at least in my memory. So yesterday, I even spent all of yesterday just playing a bunch of Skate 3 again. And you know what? That game's still fantastic. Playing Skate 4 makes me so frustrated that they basically took everything amazing about Skate 3 and like blended it with Fortnite. Let's talk, because this game, even if it's free, genuinely, it's not worth your time. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, anytime I talk about always online live service games, I always have to start with a big giant asterisk, which is a warning. I am talking about the game as it currently exists. If you stumble upon this video in the future and they come out with like 5 seasons of amazing content, they already have multiple roadmaps and season passes and $1,000 in microtransactions, maybe someday this game is going to be good. But at this point, I'm frustrated that they just messed this up so bad. So what is Skate? This new version of Skate, which I'm going to call Skate 4 just for simplicity's sake, is essentially a new version of Skate. I don't want to say it's a new sequel or spinoff. It definitely feels like a new version of it. If you want, you can play it with classic controls. You can still sort of pretend it's old school Skate, but I wanted to specifically try it with the new control system, what they're calling simplicity mode. It basically takes what made Skate incredibly different from Tony Hawk or Grind Session or a lot of the other very good skateboarding games was the flick system. Basically what you would do is that, anybody who's ever actually skateboarded, I used to be a skateboarder back in the day in my edgy punk days, my big green mohawk. The way you do it is obviously you crouch into it, you ollie, and you do a trick. As you're ollieing, you press your feet in particular parts of the board to make it spin, to make it flip. This game, what always made Skate so interesting is they replicate that with the flick system. You would actually use your right joystick to not just prep for a jump, but to actually essentially place your feet. Grabbing the triggers is how you grab your board to do different styles of tricks and spins and stuff. It's a system that's not just unique, it's very addictive, because the best part of being a skater is a lot of times sort of just sitting there and saying, okay, I bet I could ollie, grind that ledge, hop off, do a kickflip. It's kind of mathing it out before you actually do it. The Skate games did that incredibly. And I gotta be honest, when it comes to just the raw action of it, I do think that Skate 4 still has that. This doesn't completely erase the high quality kick flippiness of classic Skate. This still has the ability to create session markers. Like by far my favorite thing about Skate that made it so fun, besides the fact that it doesn't have timers and stuff the way that, I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but the fact that you only had 2 minutes to a run, I always liked that in Skate, you could just freeform roam around. And by creating these session markers, you could basically teleport back to a certain spot. So if you're lining up a giant jump or something super, super insane, you could try it over and over again. You can still do that in this new Skate. My problem is the fact that this doesn't have a story. It doesn't have a vibe. It doesn't really have anything. I also gotta say, I really do not like the new art style. Everybody looks so funky. Like back in the day, it was trying to go for that Xbox 360 realism. It was trying to basically copy the way characters sort of all looked back then. Here, everybody has this weird, soft, marshmallowy look. And everywhere is microtransactions. So let's talk about why this is free to play and why this is always online. I hate that every game now is just basically a storefront with a game on the front. This feels like it is trying to constantly, there are multiple quests that literally make you open the store. Literally it says, oh, in order to unlock the next quest, first open your store so we can spam you with a bunch of icons. Whoa, here's the next microtransaction. So There are two different kinds of currency in this. The free currency you get by unlocking the daily challenges. By doing the daily challenges, these should be like, all right, do a certain amount of tricks in this area, do a certain amount of grinds, do a certain amount of like a specific line, right? Okay, standard stuff like that. By getting the free currency, you unlock loot boxes. And inside of that, it's completely random loot. You don't know what you're going to get. It could be new icons or decals or new shirts, new tank tops and stuff. But if you actually spend real money, it's about $10 for an in-game shirt. There's already a $25 Founders Edition, which is the season pass, and a deluxe edition of this game that has a bunch of that free-to-play currency for $50. My thing is the fact that, honestly, there are so many microtransactions in this game, and they all look terrible. Some of the more hardcore fans are annoyed, saying that just in general, it looks like a lot of these microtransactions just look so bad. Like, I think people are at a point where the battle against microtransactions, we've lost the war. People are fine with microtransactions now. I still just feel weird about free games with $1,000 in microtransactions. That still just feels kind of manipulative in a way, but it's more than that. In this game, I think my problem is the fact that even looking at the microtransactions, they look like trash. I mean, they just look bad. Why can't I at least buy stuff that looks cool? Or I don't know, stuff that sounds cool. Like, the soundtrack is terrible. The voice acting in this game, there is a voice. You have to literally go into the menu and shut off the voice. You have, for some reason, this AI helper that will constantly say, what a cool trick. Oh, are you really working on your tricks? You know, it'd be great right now doing some tricks. I wanted to legit tear my ears off after an hour of this. I'm so glad I turned all dialogue down to 0. These robot voices, I'm not sure if these are actual AI or if some poor son of a gun out there was paid to read these lines in the most cold, soulless way possible. You know what makes me so annoyed about this, more than anything else, is the fact that they called this Skate. This game sucks. All right, look, it's fine. It plays halfway decent if you can just ignore everything else, but there's a trillion other problems. Making this an always online game, this game's probably going to flop. I just feel like people wanted an actual Skate game, not a microtransaction server with no versus multiplayer, but I'll get to that in a sec. My problem is the fact that when this game eventually dies, it's gone. It's just going to vanish. It's just going to disappear like every other free-to-play game ever has. You're not going to be able to play this. The way that I yesterday was able to play Skate 3 15 years later, Skate 4, it's probably just going to be deleted and here in the next couple months. So I guess if you're a Skate fan, enjoy it. Take screenshots now because, baby, this ain't going to be here in 2026. Or if it is, I'll be truly, truly shocked. My other problem with this is that the microtransactions, I feel like they're supposed to, like, a lot of these type of games, they try to give you FOMO. Buy it before the store updates. Oh, buy the cool threads so your friends can see you with it. But here's my thing. There is no competitive multiplayer. You know, the only thing that ever actually makes me want to get microtransactions is when I'm playing against somebody and somebody in my lobby is a badass. I'm playing Call of Duty and somebody's got some weed skin gun or something, right? And they kill 15 players. It looks awesome and it sort of makes me go, dang, I kind of want to get that gun, right? Going against somebody, seeing other skins, watching people running around, and it kind of gives you fashion ideas and stokes that FOMO. There is no multiplayer competitive versus. You can't play horse, you can't play trick attack, you can't play anything. The only point of this being always online is for the microtransactions. You know, I'll admit it. I think it is cool when you're cruising around the more populated parts of the city. This is a big city, and in it, basically there can be 100 people in a lobby. And you see those other people. They're doing tricks, they're figuring stuff out, they're wiping out. It is kind of cool to climb up the side of a building and actually stumble upon another player using the same session markers to basically try the same stunt as you. As a person that grew up with the internet or even before the internet, I'm still very much amused when I can play a game that is single player, which is essentially what this is, but it is cool to see other people all playing it and enjoying it at the same time. But I just don't think it's worth it, right? This game has already had server queues. Sitting in line for 10 minutes to log in to the game right before it crashes sucks. There is a weird input lag to a lot of stuff because I press a button and it doesn't just talk to my PC or talk to my PS5. It has to send that command to the server that allows my character to do it. You know how annoying it is to try and line up a trick and, oh, sorry, there's too many people trying to do that same trick. A lot of times it felt like my buttons were in a session queue. This game sucks. Maybe people are saying I'm being too mean. You know what? Honestly, this is the kind of game I wish we had a Skate 4. Or I'm not even going to step further. I would have bought a straight up remaster of Skate 3. That game is still great. That game still has a soundtrack. That game still has a soul. This feels incredibly freaking hollow. And at this point, even if you're a Skate fan, I don't think it's even worth the download, if I'm being brutally honest. But these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts after attempting to play 3 hours of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. And can I make my character bulky? I mean, I guess a lot of skateboarders are super stick skinny, but even the bulkiest character I could find was a scrawny little dweeb. Look, I'm a scrawny dweeb. I want people to be more bulky than me.